Very energetic this morning. All right, my name is ZacBob. I go by ZacBob. My real name is Zach Starr. This is my partner, my business partner, Brandon. He's our show producer for our podcast and our YouTube video, or our videos that we put up on YouTube, which is a video podcast. I'm founder of CrowdFund Genius. And what we do is who here has heard of Kickstarter or Indiegogo? Kickstarter, Indiegogo. All right, we help creators, entrepreneurs navigate through those platforms. It's a 90% fail rate whenever you first come to one of these crowdfunding campaigns. Now, it gets a little better if you try a second time. It increases to about 44% of your chance of success for a crowdfunding campaign. And we primarily work with rewards-based, which would be your Kickstarters and your Indiegogos. There's several different types of crowdfunding. You have equity-based, which would be like AngelList, or lending-based, which would be like lendingclub.com. But we try to stay away from those. We try to just stick to what we're good at, which is rewards-based crowdfunding. All right, so how do we reach our customers? We have the podcast that you heard me mention. It is on free. It's available on iTunes for iOS users and Stitcher for Android users. What it is we interview crowdfunding creators. We started this back in August 2013. I started interviewing because I wanted to know how to run a Kickstarter campaign. And we started interviewing all these creators, entrepreneurs that run. We started with small campaigns, $10,000, $15,000. Then we started interviewing some of the bigger campaigns. And the type of questions and the type of information we get from them are, how do they promote their campaign? How do they market their campaign? How much planning went into their campaign? How do they build their email list? How do they build their email list quickly? And all those answers are all available for free on our podcast. Who's heard of Gary Vaynerchuk? Gary V. If you haven't heard of Gary V, look him up on YouTube after this. He's kind of annoying, but he's also got some pretty good business advice. And we started our YouTube channel because I'm kind of a Gary V fan. And basically we take questions and answers crowdfunding related via Twitter, via Reddit, via email, however you want to ask us a crowdfunding related question, we'll answer it on our YouTube channel. Again, these are both two free resources to help entrepreneurs and creators if they're not willing or wanting to purchase any of our services. How do we make money? Consultations. We do consultations, which come up every week. We also have a coaching program where we'll take a few clients each month and we'll coach them through the pre-planning process and through their campaigns, help them build up the page copy, help them put the correct images, and help them with their crowdfunding video. We also have podcast sponsorship. We have sponsors for our podcast. We do it in seasons. We just finished season 2. Season 3 we'll talk about here in a moment, but we'll have guests, usually not guests, but services usually that are rendered for crowdfunding promotion or anything that has to do with Kickstarter or crowdfunding related. They'll come on and they'll pay us to say some kind words about them and kind of give them a plug on our show. Campaign management. We do campaign management. We're trying to get away from it because of how much work it takes and it's not really scalable. We're very selective on who we take because of the high demand it takes, or the high demand or the high requests for campaign management. And our premier product, which is the crowdfunding game plan. Back in May, we sat down with a few of our clients, 10 to be exact, and we opened up the game plan. We built this crowdfunding course, and we opened it up to let them go through it, and we worked with them. We closed it down immediately after we got 10 sign-ups, and we worked with them all summer long, revising the game plan, adding video tutorials, adding checklists, adding email pitches, media pitches, press releases, different press releases that we have gathered from other crowdfunding campaigns that have come on the show, so you have examples. Pretty much everything you need to run a crowdfunding campaign is in our crowdfunding game plan. And for our success stories, we've raised $960,000 for clients in 2015. And the first individual to go through our game plan was called Cujo. It's a wireless home security device. They were asking for $30,000 on Indiegogo. You can look them up now on Indiegogo. I believe they're around $170,000 raised on Indiegogo. So we do kind of know what we're doing. There is a way, there is a process, and there is a system where you can kind of beat the algorithm or cheat the algorithm when it comes to Kickstarter and Indiegogo. Recent growth. Our show numbers have tripled since I brought Brandon on, so I'd like to thank him for it, but our show numbers have tripled, our email list has tripled, and this has all been since July. So we are getting bigger, we're getting more requests daily for campaign management, and I'm getting a ton of requests for our crowdfunding game plan, which we have not reopened, but we're planning on reopening here soon. Which brings us to future plans, the reopening of our crowdfunding game plan. Also, we got a mastermind group that we're building, and we're going to have it ready for January of 2016. We're going to take about 6 individuals, and we're all going to work together. We're going to work on a campaign ourselves, and we're going to work on a campaign with these 6 individuals, and we're all going to plan it together, and we're all going to follow the same exact steps to our crowdfunding success. Now, the bigger thing that we're really excited about is we started working on an affiliate platform. One of the biggest problems with crowdfunding campaigns is raising that awareness. So, for example, Brandon's running a campaign for, we'll say, coffee cups. He's running a campaign for coffee cups, and I backed his campaign. And he's trying to get me to share his campaign, but what incentive do I have to share? I've already backed it, I already know I'm getting my coffee cup. What do I care if I share about his campaign? So, he'll come to our website, or he'll build a page on our website, which is going to be our promotion, our affiliate website, our affiliate platform. He'll build a page for his campaign. He'll ask me to sign up for it. I'll sign up for it. He'll give me a link, almost like a bit.ly link, a link that's trackable. And then I can share to all my friends and family, and I can get paid for actually sharing his campaign. That we're hoping to launch in early 2016. So that's it for our presentation. Any questions?
All right, we're going to open it up for questions. If you have a question, just raise your hand, and an organizer will come and allow you to ask it. Right here in the front.
No. Every campaign I run, I aim at 50,000 to 100,000. Smaller campaigns, like $10,000 to $15,000, those are great. They're probably more suited for like our consultation services or something like that. But our game plan is a premier product, and we only sell that for campaigns that are trying to reach $100,000 or $50,000. And I mean, yeah, I hope that kind of answers it. Yeah. Any other questions?
Just get our attention, and we'll get you the mic. Here you go.
So I've participated in crowdfunding events, both as putting crowdfunding events up and as a purchaser of crowdfunding items. And one of the problems I've always encountered is about 50% of the ones where I've actually purchased the crowdfunding item was the waiting on. And sort of post-funding, execution, accountability, products going to show up, etc. Are you guys involved in that? It sounds like you're mostly funded on the folks on the front end, but is there any mechanism in place to assure that these products actually get delivered to those people who actually sponsor?
That is a common problem with all crowdfunding. I mean, I've been waiting on a butter knife for about 12 months now. But campaigns are late. They're visually late. Everybody thinks they got it figured out, and we do recommend to our clients and everybody, hey, if you think you're going to deliver on this month, I don't care if you got it all ironed out, add 2 months to it, just because of the simple fact that campaigns are late. And that's just kind of the process when it comes to backing a Kickstarter or a crowdfunding campaign. You kind of got to accept that, they say it's going to be here on this time, but for anybody backing, know that it's probably going to be later. They got to go out, they got to develop it. A lot of times they get in over their head. Maybe they're a first-time entrepreneur that's running this campaign, and they didn't have all their, all their I's dotted and all their T's crossed. But we only help with a limited amount. We can direct them towards fulfillment services, and that's really about it. I mean, we try to get them planned and prepared to not do that, because that is frowned upon in the industry of crowdfunding, the fact that it is so late to receive your reward.
I think we had a question in the back.
Yeah, what is the cost for the consultation sessions?
Consultation, we charge about $75. For the coaching program, it's about $500 a month, and for our game plan, it's around $1,000.
Okay, question right up here.
So this is probably not something you jumped into, and so you're Oklahoma City based. What's the story about how you two met, and what's the story of the actual creation of the company, and what are your goals for the next few years as you grow?
Great question. Thank you for asking that too. I love telling the story. All right, so Brandon and I are both veterans. We met in the military around 2002 is when we first met. We were stationed together from 2002 to 2005. Brandon got out of the military before me. I stayed in a few more years. Brandon went over into contracting world overseas. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, I didn't even know what an entrepreneur was when I got out of the military. I had about 3 months off, and then I took a position making more money doing the exact same job that I hated when I was in the military. But I thought, more money, I'm going to enjoy it more. That's not the case. I did not enjoy it more. I was in Kuwait for 5 years. I had supplemental income. As you know, contractors tend to get paid very well. And I had the supplemental income. The first year I sat around watching movies, didn't know what to do. You know, I just sat around like everybody else, not doing nothing, wasting my time. Year two, I was like, you know what, let's try to start a business. I tried several different businesses. I was listening to podcasts because we didn't have radio over there. So I could only download podcasts when I was at work because I only had Wi-Fi at work when you're in the Middle East. And after listening to all these podcasts, you know, I got bit by the entrepreneurial bug. I was like, I'm gonna try something. Tried several different businesses. They all failed. And Kickstarter was always there in the back of my mind. Podcasting was always there in the back of my mind because podcasting was close to me. That's what I listened to on a daily basis when I went to the gym, when I commuted to work. And that's when I decided, hey, somebody should be out there interviewing these crowdfunding creators, finding out how they do it so everybody else can find out, so everybody else can learn from them. And I had no idea how we was going to monetize it. When I first started, we wanted to do campaign management, that's it. But if I get hit by a bus, the business is dead. Can't scale it. So that's kind of how we got started into it. And then Brandon just got home in May from Afghanistan, after 9.5 years over there. And I talked him into it. I said, hey, he's getting ready to go get into a job. I was like, no, don't do that. You don't want to do that. Come work with me. I need the help. And he signed on. He's been on since July, and our numbers have tripled since then. He does talk. You want to talk?
I'm kind of more of the behind-the-scenes guy. I'm the show producer for CrowdFund Genius. I pretty much edit all the videos, all the audio, and I make all the updates on our website.
So, how do you grow the email list and everything by?
Just reaching out, cross-promoting, just reaching out, me and Ashley being
Sorry. We grew the list. Well, mainly we started using lead magnets better. You know, when we first started off, we had one little crummy lead magnet. You know, it was like, hey, sign up for this free PDF form. And that was it. And then we started getting a little bit better. We started learning a little bit more. We signed up for leadpages.net. I don't know if anybody's on Lead Pages, but they're incredible. We signed up for Lead Pages. We met quite a few people. We went to a few conferences, started talking to them, and they kind of explained a little bit better on how to build an email list and better ways to build your email list. And we just started following those tactics. And we're offering, we got a, like I said, with our game plan, we got a great new lead magnet called the 3 Secrets to Crowdfunding Success. We haven't launched it yet, but it's sitting there. It's a 3-part video series that will kind of give you an inside advantage compared to everybody else when it comes to crowdfunding. Another great tool is Sniply, snip.ly. If you have a lead magnet, look into Sniply whenever you're sharing links or you're sharing content through social media.
Lots of seats up here in the front. Come on up.
Any other questions?
Okay.
Hi guys. Presuming you have a decent idea, what do you think is the most important part of the campaign?
Overfunding. 100%. If you want $10,000, ask for 4. All right, ask for $4,000. There's an algorithm in place when it comes to Kickstarter and Indiegogo. They get 5%, 2.5% go to the credit cards. So let's say you're running a campaign, you need $10,000, you ask for $4,000 because you know you can hit $4,000. You already got the backers, you have an email list, you've been talking to them, and you know how many, you have a rough estimate of how many people are going to back you. So you hit $4,000, and it is so important within that first 48 hours to get at least 75% of your funding goal. If you get 100% of your funding goal, that's great. That's exactly what we did with Cujo. $30,000, we set it low. They really needed 50, all right? That's what they really needed to get it done. But we set it at $30,000 because we knew from the communication that we had with our email list that we'd get close to $30,000, and we hit $30,000 within the first, I don't know, it's like first 24 hours. We hit almost $50,000 within the first 24 hours. And then after that, we were picked up by Fast Company, Inc. magazine. We went out on the Indiegogo newsletter, and we saw a $60,000 spike in one day.
Is there such a thing as sandbagging, as going too low to affect your credibility or anything like that? I mean, if you know you're going to get 100 and you put it down at 10 or something like that?
There is. I mean, I'm sure everybody's going to look at it that way, you know, especially if you're a repeat crowdfunder, because I see that a lot with people that have run one campaign and then they know they're going to be better than that for the second time, but they still set their goal at the same time. But in the end, 4 days later, afterwards, you know, after you kind of did the sandbag approach, they're still going to look at it like, man, this guy did $160,000 on Indiegogo.
Is there a correlation with the people that ask for too little and then can't deliver like we talked about earlier because they really needed the 50,000 and the 30,000 doesn't let them go to production, so they can't meet their promises?
That is a possibility, and what we do in that situation is whenever you get close to the end of the campaign, you pull the plug. If you can't fulfill, we pull the plug at the end and say, hey, I'm sorry. You know, I mean, that's going to be brand damaging. It's going to look bad on you. Sometimes it's a gamble, but you have to pull the plug at the end and say, hey, you know, we couldn't do it for this amount of money, and then just relaunch a second campaign, because most likely you've already got close to it. So if you relaunch a second campaign that very second day, you already got the backers. They're all going to jump onto the new campaign, and you're going to fund within the first 48 hours. So it's going to be even better.
I have a question in the back here. Can you talk about the companies, products, and services that do the best at crowdfunding? I think you kind of said that it wasn't for everybody, so can you profile it?
Crowdfunding isn't for everybody. I mean, there is certain types of crowdfunding. Like I said, the reward space is what we're in. Equity crowdfunding probably is for everybody. Lending-based crowdfunding can probably be for everybody. As far as rewards-based crowdfunding, you gotta have a reward. Services do not do very good. Apps do not do very good unless you have something, a physical product like this little remote here. Those do well. Any type of tech products, if you got a book, authors do really well. Board games, any type of board games or any type of games in general do phenomenal on Kickstarter. Tech products, anything along those lines, usually it's got to be a physical product though. If you have an app, think about a way that you can incorporate something with that app. Like for example, like here's an app. They're doing an app and they made this router. All they did was make the skin for the router. The router is pretty much your basic run-of-the-mill router, but they just made the casing look different. And their main product is the app. It's got a monthly service fee that comes with the app. So I hope that kind of answered it.
I have a question here in the back as well.
Sorry.
You mentioned when you started your campaign, you marketed to your list. Was that your list or was that your customer's list? And if it's not your list, how do you help your customers grow who they're even going to market their campaign to?
Well, we started, but it was their list. We have our own list, our personal list, but that is just for CrowdFund Genius. That is not for our clients. But our clients, we help them grow their lists. We use a series of Facebook ads. We use the tool I just announced, Snipply. We help them set up their landing page. It's usually a 2-month process when it comes to running a campaign. It takes us about 8 weeks to fully prepare and be ready to launch a campaign. And during that 8 weeks, part of that process is building that email list quickly and as quickly as possible. For Cujo, we were able to give they had funding, they had money to spend. They went out and bought an Apple Watch. We ran a sweepstakes through Woobox.net or Woobox.com. They have a sweepstakes app that syncs up, it's $30, it syncs right with Facebook. So you're able to run a Facebook ad for this sweepstakes, and who doesn't want to sign up for an Apple Watch? So what would happen is, you see it, he's giving away a free Apple Watch, you sign up for it, and then it prompts you immediately, hey, recommend 4 friends. You recommend 4 friends, we're going to throw your name in there that many more, like 10, 15 more times. So it's a quick way to build your email list. It's kind of a gimmick, but it works.
I think we have time for one more question before we ask our final question of the day.
Kickstarter.
A simple question, Kickstarter or Indiegogo? Do you have a preferred platform and why?
I do have a preferred platform. It kind of depends. Some people say that Indiegogo is more tech-oriented, so it's like more tech-space oriented, which is kind of why our clients went with Indiegogo. I 100% every single time would recommend Kickstarter over Indiegogo. Last year, Kickstarter had $1.5 billion pass through their platform. $1.5 billion. Indiegogo had around $400 million. The numbers are just more with Kickstarter. There's more eyes, there's more visibility, there's more of a community.
Are there certain products that would fit better on one platform or the other, or are they I know there's some that has to be a nonprofit or has to be other things, but those two, are they pretty?
If you're a nonprofit, you can't go on Kickstarter at all. You have to go with Indiegogo. Indiegogo is more broad, and they got more different variety of different funding. Like, you can set it up where it's not all or nothing on Indiegogo, where you get the money regardless. I don't recommend that, because when you set it up as all or nothing, that creates scarcity. You can also set it up that they actually got an equity crowdfunding with Indiegogo that they haven't really launched yet, or nobody's really talking about, but they're getting ready to launch that as well. As far as products, again, if you buy into the tech thing, that that Indiegogo is more tech, then you'd probably want to go with Indiegogo. But honestly, any product, anything that you're trying to launch to crowdfunding, I would stick with Kickstarter if you can. They are stricter, and sometimes they'll pull your campaign for no reason.
All right, so final question. We always ask this to each presenter is, what can this community specifically do for you?
You can go to our YouTube page, CrowdFund Genius, and subscribe. Like I said, we have an Ask Gary Vee type of segment on our show, so if you have any crowdfunding questions, please tweet us at CrowdFund Genius. Send us a tweet, let me know your crowdfunding questions. You can send them right now, and we'll start answering them this week, or this week, right? Yeah, this week, so. And that's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for coming out and is that your list or is that your customer's list? And if it's not your list, how do you help your customers grow who they're even going to market their campaign to?
Well, we started, but it was their list. We have our own list, our personal list, but that is just for CrowdFund Genius. That is not for our clients. But our clients, we help them grow their lists. We use a series of Facebook ads. We use the tool I just announced, Snipply. We help them set up their landing page. It's usually a 2-month process when it comes to running a campaign. It takes us about 8 weeks to fully prepare and be ready to launch a campaign. And during that 8 weeks, part of that process is building that email list quickly and as quickly as possible. For Cujo, we were able to give away, they had funding, they had money to spend. They went out and bought an Apple Watch. We ran a sweepstakes through Woobox.net or Woobox.com. They have a sweepstakes app that syncs up, it's $30, it syncs right with Facebook. So you're able to run a Facebook ad for the sweepstakes, and who doesn't want to sign up for an Apple Watch? So what would happen is, you see it, and he's giving away a free Apple Watch, you sign up for it, and then it prompts you immediately, hey, recommend 4 friends. You recommend 4 friends, we're going to throw your name in there that many more, like 10, 15 more times. So it's a quick way to build your email list. It's kind of a gimmick, but it works.
I think we have time for one more question before we ask our final question of the day.
Kickstarter.
Hold on. A simple question, Kickstarter or Indiegogo? Do you have a preferred platform and why?
I do have a preferred platform. It kind of depends. Some people say that Indiegogo is more tech-oriented, so it's like more tech-space oriented, which is kind of why our clients went with Indiegogo. I 100% every single time would recommend Kickstarter over Indiegogo. Last year, Kickstarter had $1.5 billion pass through their platform. $1.5 billion. Indiegogo had around $400 million. The numbers are just more with Kickstarter. There's more eyes, there's more visibility, there's more of a community.
Are there certain products that would fit better on one platform or the other, or are they cross? I know there's some that has to be a nonprofit or has to be other things, but those two, are they pretty?
If you're a nonprofit, you can't go on Kickstarter at all. You have to go with Indiegogo. Indiegogo is more broad, and they got more different variety of different funding. Like, you can set it up where it's not all or nothing on Indiegogo, where you get the money regardless. I don't recommend that, because when you set it up as all or nothing, that creates scarcity. You can also set it up that they actually got an equity crowdfunding with Indiegogo that they haven't really launched yet, or nobody's really talking about, but they're getting ready to launch that as well. As far as products, again, if you buy into the tech thing, that that Indiegogo is more tech, then you'd probably want to go with Indiegogo. But honestly, any product, anything that you're trying to launch to crowdfunding, I would stick with Kickstarter if you can. They are stricter, and sometimes they'll pull your campaign for no reason.
All right, so final question. We always ask this to each presenter is, what can this community specifically do for you?
You can go to our YouTube page, CrowdFund Genius, and subscribe. Like I said, we have an Ask Gary Vee type of segment on our show, so if you have any crowdfunding questions, please tweet us at CrowdFund Genius. Send us a tweet, let me know your crowdfunding questions. You can send them right now, and we'll start answering them this week, or this week, right? Yeah, this week, so. And that's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for coming out.